Finally getting to my spoiler review of Aquaman. That's right, guys. Jeez, I know. It's been a week. Should have had it up sooner, but I wanted to see it again, you know? Anytime I do a spoiler review, I want to see it again. Sadly, I didn't see it again. No, didn't see it. But, hey, we'll talk about the spoiler parts because, obviously I was very engaged by the movie. And then we can gawk at Amber Heard and Nicole Kidman in those outfits. You too, Jason. What's happening, film friends? Dave the Film Junkie here, bringing you my spoiler review of Aquaman. That's right, yeah. Sadly, I didn't get to see it again. It's just been so crazy, around the holidays, blah, blah, blah. Who knows? Maybe in the new year, I can go to an IMAX and just see it. The screen I saw in the first place was huge, too. It wasn't considered IMAX, but it's a big-ass screen. So, anyways, guys, let's talk about some of the spoiler stuff. When it comes to spoiler reviews, man, before, when I used to do a spoiler review, I used to go through the whole movie, do like a 20-minute video. I'm not going to do that here. I'm just going to talk about the spoilery stuff. If you want to see my initial review, it's on my channel. Go check it out. Opening scene with the sub. Obviously, there was the opening scene with Atlanta and Thomas. And that whole meet, but we kind of already get that whole gist of it. And you saw the fight scene, an awesome fight scene that she has in their living room with the Atlantean soldiers. And that one shot, that's one thing James Wan loves to utilize, and he utilizes it in the right spots. He doesn't overuse those one shots, but man, when you see shit, it's amazing. Love a director that doesn't just resort to the shaky cam when doing fight scenes. But anyways, let's talk about that opening sub scene where you see Manta and his Pops, and he kind of established that whole thing. We already knew that Pops was going to end up getting killed because we know the story. We know why Manta becomes Manta, or Manta. Sorry, I always say Manta. Tomato. We knew he was going to be a goner, and the way that it happened, first off, the way that Arthur fucked up those guys, especially when he had the guy on his shoulders, and he runs through that little doorway and just knocks him back. Absolutely fantastic right there. And then, when it comes to the end, basically, Arthur, he pulled a Batman move. But not Batman in this universe. There was a scene in the trailer that I was kind of worried about when I saw it. And I think a lot of people probably were too, because it seemed like it was going to be so cliche. It was when he's in the bar with his dad, and you got the biker dudes, are you the Aqua Boy on the TV? And he goes, or Fish Boy, sorry. Are you the Fish Boy on TV? And he goes, no, Fish Man, and blah, blah, blah. And you go, man, they're really going to have that cliche scene where, these biker dudes pick on that guy and they want to, fight him and this, that, and this. But it ended up being something that was pretty funny. They wanted a selfie with him, And it was just kind of like, oh, thank God they're not going to do that cliche scene. And, at first, the first, 3 pictures, Arthur's just going, well, what am I doing here? And he's making just an awkward face. And then all of a sudden he gets into it, and literally to the point where he's spitting beer out. And you got to wonder, I want to see the behind the scenes of that. The first fight between Orm and Arthur is something I'll jump to next. We knew that he was going to get his ass handed to him because, even Volko said that, hey, you're more powerful on the surface. You haven't really done underwater training. And speaking of Volko, that slippery bitch, that's not a water pun. Playing both sides. Love it. He was training him throughout. I thought his de-aging was a lot better than Daddy. That was a little strange to me with the hair, but when it came to, Willem Dafoe's de-aging, it was a lot better. It was actually pretty good. But yeah, I love how they transitioned back to that, and then he was doing his little baton spin trident thing that he said eventually he's going to utilize, and he does towards the end, and it's absolutely glorious. Orm, of course, eventually figures Volko out, and sends him off to Atlantean prison, but of course, that doesn't stick, especially with when Arthur retrieves the king's trident from Julie Andrews. That's right. Julie Andrews chose not to have a cameo in Mary Poppins Returns, which everybody thought, because Dick Van Dyke, why not? But he was like, no, I'm going to play the voice in Aquaman. So random, but what a fantastic scene. The trench scene altogether. When the trench scene starts, that shows Juan's horror elements right there, his horror background. You really see it. They're on the boat, it's stormy, it's at night, and you got these scary creatures. I felt almost like, man, there's kids in here. They're probably going to get freaked the fuck out. And then when they dive down and they're doing their thing and, oh, man, and they're fucking some of those guys up. Mira's doing her thing, and then they finally get to where they're going. And guess what happens? Mira gets saved, but not by Arthur. Obviously, you guys knew who it is. Atlanta! Mommy's back. Mommy. As soon as that happened, I was like, oh yeah, duh. It's his mom. His mom's right there. Rescues her. They're on the beach. They have a touching moment. It's pretty great. It's great to see that. And then, the final act. There's so much to look at. And when Arthur starts doing his thing, Jesus. I mean, it's like the first flight. It really is like the first flight. When he gets the actual Aquaman costume, he's got the trident, and he starts doing his thing, and and everything, and that shot. Somebody make it a poster, and I want to hang it up on my wall. The final fight between Arthur and Orm was one of the best final fights, I would say, in a CBM. It's up there. I'm not sure where it ranks, but it's up there because, finally, Arthur was like, okay, I'm going to play to my strength. I'm going to bring him up above the water, and we're going to fight on this, pretty much a ship or whatever, while everybody, people are watching and this, that, and this. And it's such a beautiful scene. And he's, of course, he's getting he's fucking up Orm. He really is. And then guess what stops the fight? Mommy! I tell you what. The DCEU and the moms. I love it. I'm nothing against it at all. But yeah. Their mom has the same name too. Bad joke. Obviously, their mom has the same name. They have the same mom. But it's just great. She shows up. And then Orm just oh my God, I thought you were dead. It stops the fight. And I'm curious to see what they do with Orm with the sequel, because obviously they take him off and they're going to put him in Atlantean jail and everything. But I'm curious to see what they're going to do with his character with the sequel, because, I think it's going to be heavily Manta. It's going to be heavily Black Manta, yeah. Because obviously that post-credit scene really showed that he survived, even though he held his own, when he was fighting Arthur. He held his own. That was a good fight over in, whatchamacallit, I forgot where it's at, Sicily or something like that. He held his own for a little bit, but yeah, he's got all that. And then, of course, he gets rescued by Mr. Stephen Shin, who is a conspiracy theorist guy who was, he saw him on the screen, and then, of course, the post-credit, he rescues Manta, and then, he basically, you see all the newspaper clippings and stuff like that, and Manta is wakes up, and he starts looking at the Atlantean technology, and then he throws that knife. How do I find Aquaman? Kind of cheesy. It was really kind of hoping for Deathstroke. Maybe Luthor shows up, please. Sadly, that didn't happen. But I guess we'll see what happens with that. But thankfully that Diana put to bed the romance rumors between her and Arthur. Right there. That's just little details like that. I love it. It's pretty. It's good stuff, So there you have it, guys. It's pretty much the spoiler review right there. It's all fantastic stuff. I all my gripes that I had about the movie, I said in my original review. Not all the jokes landed. The tone gets a little up and down. It's a little wishy-washy at times. Gets a little cheesy at times, but I still enjoyed the absolute shit out of it, and like I said, I'm going to try to attempt to see it again on the big screen before it leaves theaters. So there you go, guys. Let me know your thoughts about it down below. Let me know some of your favorite things about Aquaman, okay? Hit that thumbs up button if you'd be so kind. Subscribe to my channel. Visit filmjunkie.com for all my stuff, and of course, visit the site for all my, I already said that. Yeah, the Instagram stuff, the closet. You know what to do. All right, guys. Talk to you later.